Recently, AIM-listed penny share Aura Energy has seen its stock price more than double since it came to London on the 12th of September. Its primary listing is in Australia, where it's seen its share price hit a more than two-year high. Aura is a uranium mining company with projects in Europe and Africa. Peter Reeve is Executive Chairman and Chief Executive. He joins us now. Peter, welcome.
Thank you.
Why uranium? And tell us a bit more about the company.
Yeah, okay. Uranium, because we look at the demand situation over a long period of time. It's been a commodity that's had a lot of attraction really over a decade now. We've had some issues obviously with the price coming off in the last year or two, but over a long period of time with the sort of demand requirements, particularly out of China, the number of reactors that are getting built, over a decade, over 2 decades, it's going to be a fantastic commodity. What we have to cover some of that demand is a project in Mauritania called the Terrace project, and a very large, maybe longer term option project in Sweden called Hagen.
Let's take a look first of all at Mauritania, because my understanding is that's the one that's further developed.
That's right. Well, we've got a resource down there. We have completed a scoping study with very attractive economics and numbers that have come out of that, and we've partially completed a feasibility study. Now with the fundraising in London and the listing in London, we are going to restart that feasibility study and hopefully be at the end of that by, say, end of 2017.
In terms of what you've raised in London, how much of that is going to be, is it all going to be used for the development of Mauritania?
The majority of it will be used in Mauritania. We've also picked up some gold properties recently, very attractive down in Mauritania, and we'll use some of the money for that, but the majority is earmarked for the Terrace feasibility study, because that allows us to get into production quickly, cash flow quickly, and as you know, cash flow out of a listed company on the AIM will give you a good share price.
Yeah. You say the economics make sense. Do you mean economics at the uranium price at the moment, or in a projection of a higher price?
I mean the economics even at the price at the moment. In a lot of cases, companies sign up not really at the spot price, but at the longer term contract price, which is a bit higher. And at that price, we could make money today if we had the project in production.
What about the costs of getting it out of the ground in Mauritania? Because my understanding is it's quite close to surface.
It's a very, very shallow deposit. That's one of the big benefits. It's only 5 metres from the surface, and we also have a very unusual situation where, because the waste material is very coarse and the uranium's fine, we can screen off the coarse waste and get a very big increase in grade. So we are only going to look at something of the order of $25 to $30 a pound to get the uranium out of the ground.
And what's Mauritania like to work in as a mining company?
Mauritania has been a fantastic country for us, and it has been very supportive of our program. They've got a very good regime for tax and finance. They've got a good regime for project development, and a lot of the big names are down there. I think a lot of people don't understand just how good a country Mauritania is to operate in. You've got the likes of Glencore, who are down there for a long time, First Quantum, Kinross with a $7 billion acquisition some years ago operate there, and then a lot of the major names in the oil and gas are there as well. So I'm about to go down to the Mauritanides conference in Mauritania on Sunday, be there for a week, and the President will visit, the Mines Minister will visit. It'll be a very interesting time, but it's a great, stable and good quality company for a resources house.
Yeah, you mentioned using some of that, or for all the money you raised in London to do the Mauritanian mine. Will you have to have more money to complete the project before you come to production?
To complete the project, absolutely. So the study will get us, the 4 million from the recent raising, the 5 million from the raising, we will use 4 of that into the study, and then we need about 50 million for the production phase.
So, and have you any idea yet as to how you're going to raise that, or when that's likely to happen?
Look, I think we would be looking for that money in the next 12 to 18 months, and the equity markets have been very supportive to us. We've got some fantastic cornerstone investors, both in the UK, in Australia, and also in New York. They'll be there for some more. They'll see the benefits. If we see a rise in the uranium price, and we expect that could happen, all sorts of things can change quickly.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on in Sweden as well. Yes. As we've said, it's not quite as far advanced as Mauritania, but my understanding is potentially this has the possibility of being one of the largest mines of its type in the world. Is that right? Yeah,
I've always considered the Swedish asset to be a very strategic asset. You've got all the issues of gas around Europe, Russia, and what is energy security about, and there we have 803 million pounds of uranium in a country that has 40% of its electricity generated from nuclear power. They do enrichment there. They also are starting soon to bury their own waste. The only thing they aren't doing at the moment is uranium. So to see a situation where Sweden could be energy self-sufficient for a long period of time makes this project very, very interesting. And there isn't a lot of uranium available in Europe. So to get some uranium in Europe to supply the reactors across that country is an important step.
Yeah, mine grade, the life of the mine, what are we looking at the moment?
Look, the life of the mine would be of the order of 50 years, 100 years. We've got a lot of uranium there. The mine grade's quite low, but we are going to use a heap leach scenario to extract the uranium, and the costs are equally low. The costs of extraction from our scoping study were $13.50 US a pound, so that's very, very low.
Any other supporting metals as well that come through with that?
Yes, we get nickel, zinc, and some vanadium if we wanted it, but we can't get that out just yet, but particularly nickel and zinc.
Yeah, but so far as you're concerned, as chief executive of the company, your time is spent almost exclusively now in Mauritania at the moment, is that right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say I do a lot of time on Mauritania, and that's among the uranium, Terrace, and a little bit on the gold. But I'm keeping on with the work on Sweden because we think it's so important, and it's the real value rump in the company, say in 5 years' time. So I'm going to keep working a bit on that.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the price of uranium. Yep. As you said, it hasn't been a particularly attractive price for those that are producing the metal at the moment. What are you told from the people you're taking advice from as to where that's going?
Look, at the moment it is a metal that's somewhat in the doldrums. It had quite a nice rise 18 months ago, and we thought it might go on from there, and it hasn't. There seems to be an amount of supply out there that has to be absorbed into the system. But I look at that and say, to some extent, it's a bit of a tactical situation, a positional situation right now. But if you look out 4 and 5 years' time, and you start looking at the very simple chart which shows the supply at one level and the demand going through the roof, it's pretty indisputable that the price will rise somewhere down the track because of all of those nuclear builds in China, in India, the Middle East, and what have you. You can't get away from the fact that there's a big demand for uranium out there. So whilst we're not happy and we're maybe disappointed by what's going on with the price right now, we think you've just got to keep your powder dry. You've got to do all of what you can as a company to get yourself in the perfect position. So when the uranium price does turn, and it will turn quickly, then we'll be there. And
just to confirm, you're going to be a producer. You're not building up this mine to sell off, or?
All of our people have come from some of the big companies in the world: BHP, Billiton, Rio, Shell, Billiton, and we don't buy things to sell them. We buy things to make production. It's one of the best ways to get a dividend for your shareholders, to get the best share price.
I was going to ask about the management, and I think yourself as well. You come from some fairly well-known mining companies.
Well, many of those companies I just mentioned. So no, we're about building mines and creating strong cash flow to get the best outcome for the shareholders.
Okay, well look, we look forward to hearing more of the story when things really get going, and do come back to tell us some more about what's going on with Aura Energy. That's Peter Reeve, who's the Chief Executive and Executive Chairman of the company, with 2 really big projects under the belt, and looking forward to some developments there as it moves forward to production, first of all in Mauritania.